Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we are back with another exciting video. So in this tutorial we are going to talk about agile fundamentals. So to tell you crisply, we are going to talk about the different agile values and principles as part of Agile Manifesto. So we'll talk about that completely, so you'll have a clear picture on what are those values and what are those principles as part of Agile Manifesto. So before I get into that, to just give you a glimpse on why we are following, agile software development, right, or agile project management. So the basic, detail or criteria for why we are doing it is because we need more flexibility, right, in our software development, and also we want to adapt to changes. So that's the main reason we are following agile, right? So we had a waterfall. We used to have, like a solid plan, and we don't make a lot of changes, or changes are going to cost you a lot because you will be doing those changes at the end of your development, right? So that is where now we are having this agile software development, and we are looking forward for more flexible and adapting to changes so that we can have more working software in short intervals, right? We will see more about that. So just give you a small glimpse on why we are following agile software development, and getting into the actual details. So before I get into the actual details, I want to tell you, if you are new to my channel or if you have not subscribed to my channel, click on the subscribe button, like the video, share, and give your feedback in the comment section. Now let's get into our main topic, which is Agile Manifesto, right? Now we talk about agile. We are looking forward flexibility and adapting to changes, right? And then you may think, why we need a manifesto, right? So as per the description, or why the terminology, if you go to agilemanifesto.org, they have detail given, why the Agile Manifesto, what are the different values and everything. So the main reason why the authors brought this Agile Manifesto is we are uncovering better ways for developing software by doing it and helping others to do it, right? So as part of agile or software development or agile project management, we are trying to develop how we can improve the software development, and by doing it and also helping others to do it, right? So in order to do that, we also need to have some kind of documentation, right? So it cannot be always everything in plain, where we don't have any methodologies or anything described. So in order to do that, the Agile Manifesto is the documents that identify the 4 values. So there are 4 values as part of Agile Manifesto, and there are 12 principles, and that the author believes the software developers should use to guide their work. So it's not a mandatory forcing it, but this it's things which help us to have a better software development and better collaboration, better flexibility, better adapting to changes, so we can have better software released to market very frequent, short intervals. It's time boxed or Kanban kind of things. So also just want to say the values and principles of Agile Manifesto are created to remind you all these things what we are doing or we are producing as part of software development is actually used by different actual people and in the actual situations, right? So we need to look from that perspective, this is not a test environment or anything. It's actually used by people and in the actual situation. So following these values and principles will help you to have a better software development, and also how this work can be guided. Now let's get into more a little bit in depth, what are these values and things. So as I mentioned, the Agile Manifesto, we have 4 values, right? 4 values as part of Agile Manifesto, and there are 12 principles. So now we need to look into what are these 4 values and also what are these 12 principles, right? So let's have a look on that. So 4 values and 12 principles, that's what we are going to look now. So let's get in depth on all those things. So what is the different values as part of Agile Manifesto? So this is very important because you should know why these values are the key places or key thing for your agile learning. So because unless you know why agile focus on all these values, and these values, from these values it derives the principles. So the first value is individuals and interactions over process and tools. So as per Agile value, the individuals or the interactions or like face-to-face connect is having more priority than just following some process or tools. But it doesn't mean like you should not follow any process or tool, but for example, like if you can have a face-to-face connect or face-to-face call, or you can have a better collaboration between the people, rather than just telling you follow this process, that have better priority or better value as part of the Agile Manifesto or Agile Values. Now the second one is working software or over comprehensive documentation. The second value of Agile is like the Agile is focused on working software, and the document over comprehensive documentation. So documentation of how you do it and all those things is fine, or designing, planning, and everything. But at the end, we are focusing on a working software. So if you are doing like a Scrum at the 2 weeks sprint, we are looking for some kind of viable product or some kind of output which is a working software. So it's like a small iterative kind of approach where we are having some a working software at the end of every sprint, and it will keep on adding up. Now also the third the key value is customer collaboration over contract negotiations. So in general, we do is with customers or the product teams, it would be like we'll have some kind of contract and we tell that okay, we agreed for this, we'll just do that. But but it's more than that. In Agile, like what we are looking is like the customers or the product owners should be more collaborative with the team, and we are looking for working together to achieve the goals. So it's not just a contract between the product team and the operational team or developing team, so that it does not give any actual output. It's more of like conflict or just an agreement. But that is not what Agile is looking. It need more collaboration between customer rather than just have a contract negotiation. And the fourth one is like responding to change or over following a plan. So as I mentioned, one of the key factor of Agile is like adapting to change or responding to change, right? So at any point there may be some change requests coming from your customer or product. So Agile is always ready to take those changes, but not in the planned sprint. Mostly like if there are some new changes, it will be added into the product backlog, and we take it to the new sprint. Okay, so in normal waterfall model, what we'll have is we'll have a defined kind of plan where mostly the customer discussion will happen at the beginning of the planning design, and then by maybe at the end to review it. In between, usually you won't take any changes or any because it has to go through a lot of change control and approvals and stuff. So you usually won't do it. But in Agile, since it's a time boxed, if you are doing Scrum, it's a time box model. So after every 2 weeks, if you have some changes, you can add it to the next sprint. Now let's talk about the different 12 principles. Okay. So these principles are also main part of Agile Manifestos, and this is derived mostly from our key values. So if you want to understand Agile, you need to really understand the key values and principles and why we are following all these things as part of your Agile team structures, or how you're developing your software, and how you're collaborating with people. All those things are very important. So the first principle is like our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. So one of the value we spoke is like Agile is focused on software, right? At the end, we have working software. The same way, like the one of the principle is like to satisfy the customer as early as possible and continuously delivering a valuable software. Now the second principle. So the second principle is like welcome change requirement even late in the development, and the Agile process harness the change of the customer's competitive advantage. Okay, so Agile approach always accept the change requirement even the late of development, and using this change, we are taking the advantage from the customer's competitive advantage, and we are going to develop the requirement, and we are going to adapt, and we are going to deliver a product. Now the third, the principle is like deliver working software frequently from a couple of weeks to couple of months, with a preference to the shorter time scale, right? So if we are going to have a Scrum of 2 weeks, sprint of 2 weeks, then you will delivering some kind of working software in every 2 weeks. or if you're having like a 1 month sprint plan, then you can have in every month. And the preference is like you keep the sprint as short as like 2 weeks, so that you will have better flexibility, like more working software, and if there are some changes, you can adapt into the next sprint. The fourth principle is like business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project. So this is more about a collaboration, because if you have a customer team, and if you have an development, if you know operations, so all these teams should work together daily throughout the project. So it's not like, as I mentioned in waterfall, like you'll have a customer who comes in the beginning and he will all give the requirement and he'll go off, and there will not be any collaboration in what is happening in the project. But in Agile, you should have the product owners, or somebody from the stakeholders always into the Agile meetings, reviews, so that you have a good collaboration and the product backlog defining and all those things. Now the fifth point is like build project around motivated individuals and give them environment and support they need, and the trust them to get the job done. So the fifth point is based on the people, because people and interaction is more important than process and tools, right? So it says like you need to have motivated individuals which are self-organized, and they we have to provide the complete environment and support to them and trust them to get the job done. And the sixth principle is like the most efficient and effective method of conveying information to and within the development team is face-to-face conversations. So these are also about the collaboration or the interaction, people and interactions. So the best method is to have a face-to-face conversation rather than having sending emails or through video or through Skype calls. It's best like if you have the teams within the office, you have a face-to-face connect, maybe a stand-up call where we all stand up and just have a short talk about those things. So that's the best one as per the Agile principle. And the working software is the primary measure of the progress. So as I mentioned, in Agile, we should have always an iterative approach where we have some kind of software output in our every sprint, right? So the working software is the primary measure of your progress. And the eighth principle is like Agile process promote sustainable development. The sponsors, developers, and users should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely. So this is more about how the output again. So the Agile process promote a sustainable development. So it's not like very stringent development, but you should have the clear picture on how the Agile process works, the sprints, and how many user stories, or how you evaluate the user points and stuff. It has to be done perfectly, so that the sponsors, developers, and the users should be able to maintain a constant pace. And the ninth principle is the continuous attention to technical excellence, and good design enhances the agility. So you also need to have focusing on the technical excellence, and also designing and how you can keep people motivated, and also enhancing their competencies to achieve those. And the 10th principle is the simplicity, the art of making maximizing the amount of work not done is essential. So it's straightforward. They like the simplicity, or is the art of maximizing the amount of work not done is essential. Okay. And the 11th principle is the best architectures requirement and the design emerge from self-organizing team. So as I mentioned, the self-organized team is very important, because everyone should know what is their role, what their what's their output need to be given, what is their skills, and how they can contribute. And they should be able to we should be able to have a trusted team, so we should get a clear output from the team. And the 12th and the last principle is at regular interval the team reflects on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjust its behavior accordingly. So this is also important, like we should have regular feedback, we should have regular retrospective to see what are going good, or what has to be changed, what has to be stopped. So all those things has to be looked into it, and the team has to keep constantly taking those feedback and improve and reflect, and how to make it more effective. So these are the 12 principles as part of Agile Manifesto. So we also saw like what are the 4 values, and now the 12 principles. So we spoke about the 4 values and 12 principles of Agile Manifesto. So this tutorial, I'm not going to go in depth more about all these things. I just wanted to give you a brief introduction and the details on Agile fundamentals or an Agile manifesto, like what are the different values which you should focus, and also like what are the different principles. So that is all for this tutorial. So again, I would request you, like, if you're new to my channel and if you have not subscribed to my channel, click on the subscribe button, like my video, share to your colleagues and friends, and also give your feedback in the comment section. So